Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another Sunday Live, even if it's a little bit later today than usual. But we had an important election in Germany today. It was the last state parliament election before the federal election in September, and so the result was quite important. I hope sound and everything is okay because I have a slight delay on my screen here. Let me know if something doesn't fit right. I had to make some changes because of the connection again. YouTube is a bit picky at the moment with live streams. I'm glad that so many of you are here, even if it's a bit later. Maybe it's a better time than usual, I don't know. But I'm starting even on Sundays to work at 6 in the morning. That's why I usually don't do it that late. So then give me one quick second. And let's see, thanks Tom for the info. I changed something. If the sound delay is still there, let me know. So now I changed it. On my screen, everything is good again. When you see me wave, okay. So I just had to realign the camera again. So I will tell you a little bit about the election later if you want, even if it's not a Brexit topic, but a German topic. It has to do with Brexit in the widest sense, because this election was very important regarding the populists we have here in Germany as well. And it was an Eastern German election. And the populists are stronger in Eastern Germany than in Western Germany, although I don't like the distinction between East and West anymore. It's more than 30 years now since reunification, but unfortunately that is the case. So populism is working there a little bit better than it does where I live. So it has to do with that because they're using the same tactics the Tories are using, the Leave campaign was using. So if you want, I'm going to talk about that topic as well. And there were some surprises regarding the topic, how good are polls? Because they weren't good at all. So, but first of all, let's have a quick look who's here. Let's see if I find some in my list. Otherwise, I go through the chat quickly. Hi, Aiden. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Dimitia. Hi, Geraldine. Hi, Igor. Hi, Junie. Hi, Katrina. Hi, Tom. Thanks for helping out a bit with moderating today and for your mentioning of the delay. But I saw some more. Hi, Dude. Hi, POR. Hi, Chaduret. Hi, Katrina. I don't know if I said that before. Okay. So, another Sunday. I put in the description of the video because those were the topics of the week. First of all, Ireland, then the elections. That's the election we had today, and that's why I had this delay. And the Delta variant, because that has quite some influence on the UK at the moment. But let's do a quick recap on Ireland, because I made a video on the topic of the services industry, and Ireland is indeed a Brexit winner in regard to the services industry, because they had a growth of 24% in services in Ireland. So congratulations to my Irish viewers. That is a Brexit benefit, but not one of the kind the Leave campaign probably thought about. And we will see more of that next year when the clearing business is out of its transition period. At the moment, there is still a transition period for all clearings at the banks until mid-2022. Until mid next year. And then this clearing business will have to happen inside the European Union. And because of the language, and we already know that many banks transferred branches, etc., to Ireland because of the language. It's the only native English-speaking country in Europe now, in the EU now. And so I think we're going to see more of that. And I don't think that we have one banking center in the future in the European Union. It will be split between Dublin, Luxembourg, Paris, and Frankfurt. And but I don't think that it's something really bad. But Dublin will definitely gain more of that next year, and I'm quite sure. Um, yeah, Tom, that's probably a point that, of course, it has influence on other things. The house prices in Dublin must be going higher at the moment. I'm quite sure when so many people working for banks are looking for houses. We had the same issue in Frankfurt anyway, but it's not really a region where non-bankers really want to live. It's not. It's a nice town to visit, but I wouldn't want to live there, to be honest. And so the prices there are already high. And Kathy, thank you for telling us, yeah, that the house prices are high indeed in Dublin, and that unfortunately will continue. I guess when more will move there. And hi, Christian, thanks for joining us. Um, Still waiting for my delivery from Lego, by the way. Unfortunately, I'm waiting for some stuff I need for the office, for the studio here. We several days had 30 degrees in my hometown here the last days, and it will come back to those temperatures very soon. And you can imagine with the big lamps I've got here, how warm it is in my studio. And so for that alone, I'm waiting for some delivery, and all the things I'm waiting for were sent with the worst parcel service we have here, and I'm really angry about them because the last announced date was yesterday, and now nothing arrives before for Monday. So, ugh, why do they have to use that parcel service? I hate them. I won't name them here, but they are really the worst. I never ship anything through them. I know why. But still, Ireland is going to be is benefiting from Brexit, and that will continue despite all the trouble with the troubles. Of course, I hope they will never come back, even if David Frost is doing everything for them to come back, if Poots is doing everything for them to come back. There will be a meeting next week again between Frost and Šefčovič, the Vice President of the EU responsible for the Northern Ireland Committee, for the Joint Committee of the Withdrawal Agreement. And they have to find a solution based on the treaty. Yeah, and the Brexiteers are starting to call this the EU protocol. And in that case, I have to counter that with the truth, because in the end, this is the Johnson protocol. Theresa May had a completely different solution with the European Union. A solution that would have taken away all the problems we have at the moment with Northern Ireland. Boris Johnson insisted on another solution. And so you might, by all right, call it the Johnson Protocol. And with that campaign going on from the Brexiteers at the moment, I'm thinking about only to call it the Johnson Protocol in the future. So, the other point I was talking about this week, and I want to emphasize, is the thing with the EU workers. A big part of the Leave campaign was to stop the freedom of movement, to keep the foreign workers out of the UK. And where are they now? Even big Brexiteers are crying for letting in EU workers, because they're missing almost 190,000 staff in pubs and restaurants. They're missing, what was it, about 18,000 truck drivers? And so it's already biting them in their derriere at the moment. Everybody of a sound mind knew nobody, or let's say almost nobody, there are perhaps a fraction of those missing that would want to take a job from the people unemployed in the UK. But most of those jobs, farm workers, who are picking fruit, picking flowers and so on, I reported on that too. Nobody in the UK wants those jobs. That's the same here. We have asparagus season right now where I live. Just 200 meters away from my home, there are asparagus fields. There are people from Eastern Europe taking care of those fields. German people are not much better than British. They don't want to do that job, and they are bad at that job. That's the other point. If we had people sent there because they're unemployed, it doesn't work because they wouldn't do a very good job. And so there are people who are really good at that job, but they're not living here usually, and they're not living in Britain usually, and they need to be hired for that time. They're, in some cases, must be better paid, better housing, stuff like this. I know the discussion and I agree. But there are people who can do those jobs much better. And fortunately for me and for us, because I do like asparagus, the people are allowed to come here and work here. They're not longer allowed that easily to come to the UK and work there, because their point is they're seasonal workers. They want to make as much money as they can for home. If they have to pay for expensive work visas, they won't go there. It's of no use for them, because they don't earn enough anymore. So somebody really didn't think very far, but that's not uncommon with this government, not to think very far, as we will call it. So the freedom of movement part backfired already. Not to talk about fish and what else we all talked about. Sorry. Then Weatherspoons, of course. That was really a fun thing. That the guy like Martin, who was really campaigning for Brexit, who was a big friend of Brexit, who, as far as I know, put a lot of money into the campaign, is now calling for the government to make it easier for the foreigners to come to the UK to work for him. That's quite a joke. What time are we having dinner? I'll bring the crayfish and a good German white wine. Christian, what white wine do you like, by the way? And please don't say Riesling, or not the common one you get here in the supermarket. That's far too sweet. But we really have good German wines. I'm not supposed to promote alcohol here on this stream, but still, I can talk about that. Occasionally, when it's not the pandemic, I do drink wine, of course. And I'm looking forward to your answer, Christian. The pandemic is a problem. I'm still not going to beer gardens or whatever. They are all open here. Yeah, we are out of lockdown, but I'm really waiting until I got my second jab this month, and then 2 weeks after, before I go to anywhere with friends, even if it's allowed. I got too much from the first time last year when I got infected, and I don't want to have anything else on top of that. And so I'm really waiting until I am as protected as I can. And close to the end of the month, I will be vaccinated for the second time, and in mid-July I can go to a beer garden then, or have a barbecue with some friends. What's allowed here? So, but that's what I'm always saying in my videos. You can have patience. We have been patient that long that it doesn't matter if you have to wait a little bit longer. And I was waiting since the beginning of the year. I didn't know when I would get my first jab. And so that's a few weeks now. I have to wait until mid-July, and then it's fine. There are other people who have to wait longer, because we're now have to reserve BioNTech for the kids, so that hopefully they, during the summer break, will be vaccinated, and then after the summer break we can start school completely normal again with them protected. 1 second, I have to allow a comment, which is quite harsh, but unfortunately true. So, Thomas Riley, hi there. Not all wines have alcohol in them. Yeah, I know. But they do taste different. Silvana, Black Tower Wine, Blue Nun. Um, okay, they are different wines than from what I'm drinking. Um, what do the Americans call it? What I'm drinking? I know from that I only know the German name. I think they say Pinot Gris. That's my favorite. It's Grauburgunder in German. That directly translated would be a gray Burgundy. It's a white wine. Um, that's my favorite. Plum wine is the only good wine. Yeah, the typical dude. But I must say, although I shouldn't get too much alcohol, but there's not much in it. I told you before, if you're following my channel since the beginning of the live streams, at least I told you about my that I really like Korean TV shows, and when I have time, I watch them on Netflix. And they made me test some stuff, so I test ordered some stuff. I haven't drunk much of that because I just want to test it, and I'm not drinking properly alone in the pandemic. I'll wait until it's allowed again for me. I really tested soju. I tested soju with added taste. I tested what was the other one? It's a bit milky. It's like milky water or watered milk. It's another version they have, but I just forgot the name when I needed it. Ah, sorry, I was working all day, and now I'm getting a headache from my glasses. That's the bad thing. So if I can't read something properly, you're writing, please don't don't mind. You're not used to me without glasses at the moment, but I was preparing the video descriptions for 110 videos for my Queer View channel. I was preparing the Queer ABC. That's a series I'm bringing in the next months. Every third day I will have one episode of this ABC, and I was preparing them all today as well as filming all the videos for tomorrow. So it was completely a working Sunday today, and I must have worn my glasses for too long. That's why I usually do the 6 o'clock one, because then I'm already working sometimes for 12 hours, and now it's 8. But no matter what, before I go to our elections, which should be quite interesting for you as well, I don't want to miss the Delta variant. The Delta variant, it's not an invention by the British press. The Delta variant is an official name from the World Health Organization because there was too much discrimination, obviously, because of naming the viruses where they were first discovered, like the British viruses, the South African, the Brazilian, and now the Indian. And so they decided to go to Alpha. Did they use Bravo or Beta? I'm always talking about Delta now. That's Alpha, Beta, Gamma, Delta would be the normal Greek one, or Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta in the NATO alphabet. But Delta is what we before always called the Indian variant. That's the dominating variant in the UK now. And it is more contagious. And that was the reason I told you in a video about this, that, for example, the German government announced the UK as a virus variant area again and completely restricts access from people coming from the UK. So only Germans and residents in Germany coming from the UK are allowed in. Greek alphabet. Thank you, Tom. And Katrina. And you have to go into quarantine now if you come from the UK because of the spreading of the Delta variant. And so it's really makes no sense to come to Germany from there. And other countries have followed. There are restrictions in Austria and so on because of that variant. And we have to take that serious. And in the first place, Boris Johnson always said they will stick to their date, 21st of June, for Freedom Day. But now it sounds a little bit different from government. if you listen, they are thinking about delaying that date. And the numbers are not that high. The incidence is not that high yet. But with the spreading of that variant, we know what happened in India. It can bring a third wave very quickly. And I quoted a professor from Oxford University in one of my videos this week who said he is expecting a probable third wave now because of the Delta variant in the UK. And so you can't take it as easily as Johnson did last year, which just is not worse than the swine flu and whatever. They really have to take that one serious. That's why our government blocked travelers from the UK, for example, because they take it serious. We don't have a lot of cases of the Delta variant here, fortunately, and we don't want those cases here, at least not until we have vaccinated as many people as possible. And so I really hope that they reconsider their Freedom Day and the date for the Freedom Day, because that would be the reasonable thing. And it's not only the British, I say the same to Germans traveling now. You don't have to go to holidays this year. We have waited 1.5 years for doing that. You can wait until next year to do this, when we get many more people on this planet vaccinated, when you are all vaccinated and the risk is much lower, we are out of lockdown. Nobody dies if you can't travel for 1 year to your used holidays. For the Germans, Ballermann, for example. But people die if you do travel and bring something back, and that's the problem. And so I really don't understand people who can't be patient. I know it's annoying. I'm annoyed too. I usually have tons of appointments. I mean, if you like my videos, it was good for you, because I made more videos than I ever could have done without the pandemic. I would have done far less without the pandemic, because I would have tons of appointments. Political ones are not so. I only had 2 appointments in politics this month, and that was a group session and my district council session. I cancel everything else. I'm not joining a city council group session tomorrow because they are meeting in person again, and I'm avoiding that until mid-July, just to be safe. And the last thing I would get in my mind would be right now to travel. And so people are sometimes so impatient and sometimes ignorant. We have now the problem with the seniors. In the first place, younger people were quite egoistic here. They said, oh, I don't die from that. I don't get seriously ill. So why should I not meet my friends? Why should I not do whatever I want to do? And we get the same behavior as a payback now from seniors. They are fully vaccinated and they are saying, no, why should I wear a mask? I don't care. I'm safe. I don't care about the young people. So some of them are paying that back now with the same egoism we had from the young people last year, we get from some seniors now. It's as wrong as it was last year, but still. And so people have to overcome their own egoism a little bit. But especially with the Delta variant, the vaccines are protecting against it, but not as much as I would like it to. So we still have to be careful. And as I said, we have to get the whole planet vaccinated. And I'm spoiling little bit now a video I'm making tomorrow. The biggest joke in that is you all know that the UK, like the USA, was on a path of vaccination nationalism. Johnson is celebrating now that he vaccinated so many people because he was not given away any vaccine. And but it still doesn't help until we got the whole planet vaccinated, or the majority of the people on this planet. And now this person is demanding on the G7 meeting next week that we give vaccine to the other countries in the world, to the COVAX program and so on and so on. now that he was on almost a 1 year vaccine nationalism path, and when he got all his people vaccinated, then he wants the others to share. And it's quite a bit of a joke. I will be a little bit more elaborate on that one tomorrow, but I was really angry on when I made that video. Don't worry, I don't want to get blocked by YouTube, so I stopped the video before I said what was on my mind. I mean the words. Son of Viking, hi. Thanks for joining us as well. I almost said hi Nightbot. It must be too late for me tonight. I don't know. But we will all have to be a little bit more patient. So that were the words for the Sunday. And then I almost went to another topic. Christian, I'm getting the second jab 10th of June. Congratulations. I'll have to wait 2 more weeks than you. I'll have to wait until the 24th or 26th. I even don't know my own calendar at the moment. Thanks, Tom. Nightbot says hi too. As I said, the reason for the late live stream today was we had an important election in Germany because it was the last state election before our big federal election in September. And we have all the chancellor candidates of the parties, and there was a lot going on in the polls with the Greens running away from everyone and so on and so on. Hi, Fallout. And we had a very interesting combination in the polls for the state election. It was the state of Saxony-Anhalt today in Eastern Germany. And in the polls, the Christian Democrats and the right-wing extremists from the AfD were head-to-head in the polls as the strongest party in the state. And at 6 o'clock, we always get a prognosis on TV, because then all the polling station closed, and in that second you get the prognosis from the polling institutes, which are in the past were quite correct in Germany, but I don't know what's happening at the moment. And so then time after time you get more results, and those prognoses are combined with the results coming in. They have a very, very complicated system there, but those are quite correct in the end then, because the prognosis is based on the polls they made on election day. And when the polls came, you saw, no, not the polls, the prognosis came at 6 o'clock, that the polls were kind of wrong, because the Christian Democrats came out with, where do I have it? 36.2%, and the right-wing extremists from the AfD with 22.5%. So with a almost 14% lead. In the polls, in all the recent polls, they were head-to-head, and the Christian Democrats won big time today. This is almost a record result in that state for them. They only have been better once, and they gained 6% compared to the last election 5 years ago. I just can quickly tell you the other results. So the Christian Democrats with 36.2%, the AfD, the right-wing extremists, with 22.5%, and I'm going to talk about this now. The Linke, that's the left party, quite extreme left, it's 10.9%. The Social Democrats, that's like Labour, with 8.4%. That's one of their worst results in history in a state election. The Greens, which are completely hyped in Germany at the moment, in the state election only got 6.2%. And the Liberal Democrats got 6.5%. And with that, after 10 years out of parliament, they returned into that state parliament. It is definitely not a good sign that we have a right-wing extremist populist party with 22.5% in one state parliament. And that's unfortunately not the only one in Eastern Germany. That's why I have to make the distinction between West and East there. In the East, they are quite strong. They are calling themselves a regional people's party. A people's party, not like in the Chinese sense. We call a party a people's party if they really reach a wide variety of people. And usually that was the Social Democrats and the Christian Democrats in the history of Germany. And now, as you heard, 8% for the Social Democrats, they are almost gone in that state. And they are not looking much better in the federal election. Fortunately, the AfD looks much worse in the federal election. But it was a really interesting one, and especially for me being in politics, was very important how the results were today. So I had to follow the results, and that's why I had to come later today. The Greens didn't get any push from their chancellor candidate, and a lot of polls were saying that the Greens are far ahead of the Christian Democrats at the moment. But if you look at these polls that had the AfD and the Christian Democrats on the same level, and now the Christian Democrats are 14 points ahead, the polls are really not doing a good job at the moment. And Tom Nelson, guess Olaf won't be too pleased. Funny as it is, I have heard a lot of people on TV then, but I haven't heard anything from Olaf Scholz. He's the chancellor candidate from the Social Democrats, although if you live in reality, we have three chancellor candidates from three parties. He's the one who definitely will not be chancellor. If you take it seriously, it will either be Annalena Baerbock from the Greens or it will be Armin Laschet from the Christian Democrats. But it will not be Olaf Scholz. If they don't find any miracle, he will not be chancellor. And so the AfD part was really worrying today. So even if they got back on a high level like this, we are glad they are far behind the democratic parties, and we are glad that they didn't gain. They lost only 1 percentage point or 2 percentage points today, but they didn't gain anything. And that is at the moment something to be happy about. They will probably lose in the federal election as well. And in my hometown, fortunately, they've always done bad. But it's still worrying because we have the same thing we have to think about here with the people voting for AfD, how to get them back to the democratic parties after they fell for populism. It's the same with many Brexiteers who just fell for populism, and nobody and no party in the UK of the other parties found a solution to get them back, I have to say it like this, to reality. And we have the same problem here, just on another topic. And so it's a really problematic thing. Okay. I'm quite curious. I always read the live chat later after the live stream because I don't get everything while I'm filming, but there must be something funny going on. Dude has a question there. How do the Social Democrats and the Christian Democrats actually decide on their candidates? Seniority? No, it's different in both cases because they changed the system over time, how they choose the candidates. The Social Democrats this time asked all the party members who will be the chancellor candidate. They had the same system before as the Christian Democrats. The party board decides on that candidate because they are all elected anyway by the members, via the delegates. And so that is a system that we have here. That is the normal system. So the party boards usually decided that, and the Social Democrats changed that. The Christian Democrats discussed as well to have handed that to the members. but it was too late when they discussed this to do that. Oh, Big Marsh, hi. I haven't answered your question yet, so that will come later. So it's good that you have joined us now. And yeah, it doesn't only look warm in the studio, it is warm in my studio. That's why I'm still waiting for that fracking delivery. And it's different in parties. The Greens, there was a discussion, they have two heads of the party, so a chairwoman and a chairman, and among themselves that they decided who's going to be the chancellor candidate, and they decided to let Annalena Baerbock do that. You can discuss all the ways, is it good or not? They are all in the end democratically justified, because when those people were elected for their positions, those who decided in the end, it was clear that they will be the ones deciding on the candidacies. So all the members knew that. And so it's still all democratically justified. You can have a favorite version of how to do it or not, but they are all valid versions. So I wouldn't say Annalena Baerbock was announced in a less democratic version than the social democratic one, because when people voted for those people in those positions, it was clear that it's going to happen that way. And so I have my now Mark is swearing too. I try to prevent that. It's only very rare that I do that, and I really prevented that in the one video tomorrow about Boris Johnson. So chancellor candidates anyway are not that important on the ballot paper, because there is no chancellor on the ballot paper. We don't vote for a chancellor. It's the same as in the UK in that point. Nobody voted for Boris Johnson as prime minister. I never voted for Angela Merkel as chancellor, and I will not vote for the next chancellor. I vote for the candidate in my constituency. Okay, I have 2 votes because we have a proportional representation combined with first past the post. So I vote for the candidate in my constituency. The constituency candidates are elected first past the post here. And how many people we have in the federal parliament is decided by proportional representation. Because I have a second vote on the ballot paper where I vote for a party. But on neither I vote for a chancellor. And so the members of parliament in Germany in the end elect the chancellor. Whoever gets a majority can elect a chancellor. But none of us, voters, does that. And that's the same as in the UK, even if people always say, Boris Johnson was elected prime minister by the majority of the people. First of all, it was 43%, not the majority. And he wasn't. The only people who voted for him directly were the people in his constituency when they voted for him as MP, but not PM. And so that's another myth there, but I want to make clear, nobody of us voted for Angela Merkel in the last 16 years. And nobody before that voted for Schröder, nobody before that voted for Kohl. We always voted for our MP, our local MP, and a party list. And that's what's going to happen in September again. I will vote for the candidate in my constituency, which I hope that is the one that wins, and I vote for a party. And then we will see how the constellation in parliament will be and who can find a majority. This is quite open at the moment. And we will see who can manage to get a majority. It is all depending on the strength of the Christian Democrats. If the stronger they get, the more probably there is no government without them. If they don't get that strong, there will be chances for other governments and for Annalena Baerbock to be chancellor. But if the Christian Democrats become strong because of the Nazis in parliament, and I call the AfD that as well, because there are many Nazis in that one, then Armin Laschet will be chancellor. So it will be very interesting. And I have to say that I'm sorry already, because today I could make the live stream a bit later. On that day, I'm really sorry, I have to apologize already now. There will not be a live stream, except I do a spontaneous one from the election party I'm on that evening, when Corona allows all that, when everything went that far down that we will have the election party. We always have it at general elections and local elections. Christian Kruse says, boy, it's different in Denmark. The biggest bloc go to the Queen and she tells them to form a government. Then if they don't have a majority against them, they become prime minister. Yeah, that's a difference with monarchies and republics. It's similar in the UK. The Queen tells Boris Johnson to form a government, and if there's not a majority against him in Parliament, he is. In Germany, our president only declares the chancellor after the Parliament voted for him or her. And that's the only job he has in that. He can't prevent that. If a majority of Parliament voted for the chancellor, he has to name the person chancellor. And it's a good thing, because our president is not very powerful, because we learned from a time when the president was really powerful. And so he's just kind of one of the two guardians of our constitutions. One of his jobs is to deny his signature under laws if he thinks they are unconstitutional. But there's a very high hurdle for him to dissolve Parliament. A lot has to happen there, so he's allowed to. So we didn't have that very often. In other countries, if you have a look how often they dissolve parliaments, that's impossible here. The president even can't do that. And that's all based on things we learned from the past, from the beginning of the 20th century. That's why our government is not as strong as it was before in the First Republic, and for good reasons. And I think it's good that they are. And that's another point why Angela Merkel had to talk so much to the prime ministers of the states, because the central government or the federal government, we're not a centralized republic, the federal government had no competences in many fields about this pandemic and had to get the prime ministers of the states to agree to them. And that's why I'm a friend of federalism. Okay, I really have to read that live chat later on. But I also, besides the question from Dude, I got some questions before I announced it a little bit late, I know. But when I knew that I would start later, I gave you at least a chance for 2 days to ask some questions. And Big Marsh, ask a question. But to be honest, March, this question could have been from Dude. It's that shady. No offense, Dude. I will read it for every one of you. You can answer it probably yourself. How does a country let go of its past and finally accept where it is? For example, many countries have had powerful empires, but they don't talk about them and are often ashamed of their past. But one country in Europe, but not in the EU, celebrates its past atrocities and all. How does such a country let go and understand its place in the modern world? You all know who he means. And you all know why I called this question shady. Under this government, they won't. That is my short answer to that one. Because they're using that old empire image for their followers. That's how they keep a lot of their followers on track. YouTube is Nightbot, or YouTube is very picky today. Yeah, the question was longer than the answer. Yeah, I'm sorry, but it's quite an easy answer on that one. I can't change that because the others learned. Um, there are other things you can discuss, Marge. For example, on we all at the not going to the point with the Nazi reparations and stuff like that, or the reparations of the First World War, but we had the case now in Africa that Germany was accepting its responsibility for genocide in Africa, that they are paying money now. The people there are discussing, of course, it's not enough, we want more, but the point that they stand to their responsibility and say, yeah, it was genocide, it was the emperor's fault, it was the time of the emperor when that happened, and they take the responsibility for that, is something many other countries don't do. I just want to remind of Turkey during the times of the Ottoman Empire, and there are a lot of places, and Mark, you called it atrocities, where the British haven't really treated those people very well, and this government definitely is not taking responsibility for things that happened in the past, but it has to be worked on. They will warn the moment when the image stays only on t-shirts. I didn't get that one. Exactly, Marsh. Acknowledgement is the first step, which Germany has done. Other countries need to do the same. Exactly. Germany waited too long in this case as well, but at least they've done it now. But that's one of those problems. And I've got some questions from KFH ROE, who always likes to ask several questions in a row, but I haven't seen him. Are you here? I will see if he's here. Otherwise, I know that he's going to watch it later. Asking a question about the Australia deal. The Australian deal could harm the UK farmer because they have a higher standard and higher cost. I think the gamble for the UK government is it will mainly harm the EU farmer, since most of the imports are from EU, but the consumers will prefer UK and Australian food instead of UK and EU food. The patriotic English consumer will choose the Union flag product first when the cheap Australian food, and then finally the EU food. What do you think? First of all, cheap is relative. You must not forget how far they have to transport food from Australia. And that's the other point I was discussing in regard to fish, when they now said when we can't sell our fish to the EU, then we sell it to Japan or the USA or whatever. You can't sell fresh fish to Japan. And you can't sell fresh meat from Australia to the UK. So if you want frozen food, yeah, you can have it. But if you want fresh meat, it can only be from the EU. There is no place where you can get it from without freezing it if you have to transport it. And so the issue goes a little bit deeper and is a bit more complex than people are thinking. I prefer buying fresh meat instead of frozen meat. In the end, it does taste differently. And so it will depend on the people what they want. And if they want fresh meat, it will, in most cases, be EU meat. And then he asked, as he calls it, some silly questions. What flag do you have on my right on the video? The first looks like France, but it's connected by the red stripe. France flag is connected by the blue stripe. I haven't seen Conservative today, but he definitely would know what this flag is. I have quite a delay here, so I can't wait for your answer. This is the flag of my closest neighbor. It's the Netherlands. It's the Dutch flag. And so they're direct neighbors here, and I was stationed in the Netherlands when I was in the Air Force, and I really like it there. And not because of what you can smoke there. By the way, smoke, somebody tried to tell me about vaporators when I was saying I had a big problem with those. I found another solution now, by the way. I'm not smoking cigarettes anymore. Then the next question is, the second one looks like Italy, but there's a banner on the white stripe. That one you might remember from my interview with Simone Wendland from the State Parliament, because that is the flag of my home state. That's North Rhine-Westphalia. It's green, white, and red, and that. What is the name for Wappen in English? So it's the, I would call it, shield of North Rhine-Westphalia. That's why that one is there. And then he writes, the third one looks like Germany, but the stripes are vertical instead of horizontal. Do they have a meaning different from what I think? No, they're just that way. It's not Belgium, because the colors would be different. It's just because the flag is hanging. If I hold it up, it's definitely a German flag. So that was just because it's standing there and the flag is hanging like it usually is. And the rest is, of course, you know, the European Union, you know, the rainbow flag. I don't have to explain that one. And I'm quite sure you know those two, Ireland and Scotland. And I do support Ireland and Scotland on my channel. Crest. Thank you, Tom Nelson. That's a crest. Thanks. Yeah, I completely forgot that one. I support Ireland and Scotland here on my channel. And you know that I support an independent Scotland if necessary. And that's why I have them here as well. I will add some more, but they're quite expensive here, I have to say. First of all, what was that? Sorry. Oh, someone was writing in German. Great t-shirt. Thank you for all your hard work. Keep going. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, that's another one of my t-shirts. Although I was fighting with that shop a little bit. But I thought that's a little bit more neutral one. I have friends in the UK which might get in trouble with some of my Brexit t-shirts. And I think you can, well, interpret this one a little bit different. It doesn't have to be that clown. So I thought that was a nice add-on for some of my friends. Okay, Vach, you're here. Yeah, I've got your questions covered already. And I will definitely add on some flags. But talking about my shelves, some haters complained again. It looks like, first of all, I would look like a soccer ultra more and more because I'm wearing t-shirts and I got a different hairstyle now. And if you still hadn't got it, I'm gay. That means I know which haircuts are trending. And this is called a Caesar cut here in Germany, and that is a big trend. And I knew it before my hairdresser knew it. And she usually knows everything first, but I knew it before her. So that's the point. If you have that, and if you prefer to take the unicorn, no, you know what you do with your hairstyle. So I like soccer, but I'm not a soccer ultra. And one more thing. I think you've seen that the bowl behind me is empty at the moment. I didn't want to annoy you all the time. No, it's only swimming for a limited time because there were some people, no offense, if you thought that was a real fish. Some really thought it's a real fish. Of course it's not. It's a robot fish. And I just got the offer of that one and it was absolutely funny. And I liked it. So I put it there as my decoration, even if some of those haters say it looks like the room of a 15-year-old. Yeah, they forgot that I'm doing Lego videos as well. So, but that will be a little bit noisy now, is a robot fish and nothing else. And he will stop swimming after 4 minutes. That's the only problem with them. They have a water sensor in there. I thought it's funny. And I really like that one. and it was sold out for quite some time, so I had to wait for weeks and weeks on it when it was offered to me. But I really like that. As I haven't seen Glasgow here today, he would know what I'm talking about because I'm a big fan of Star Wars and Star Trek, and that is my personal Picard moment here in my office or my ready room. That's not as thick a burn as you thought. Dude, I don't get you. Okay. But never mind. So I covered the elections, I covered that. To the haters, I'm not turning 15. I'm running towards 50 at the moment, and so I can keep my youth. And for Big Marsh again, it's very hot in here because the delivery of my AC hasn't arrived, which I really need for that studio here. When we have 30 degrees outside, then I have more than 30 degrees in here, and you definitely don't want to see me what otherwise would be necessary half naked here. Nobody wants to see that, I can promise you, especially not now after more than a year of the pandemic and with not being able to make sports because of the long COVID mess, which I still know that I'm not very good at moving at the moment. I gained a lot, I know. I had to order all my own merch in bigger sizes than before. I beat you to 50 as I hit that in April. Okay, I've got a couple of years left, so or more than a couple. But you beat me there, Fallout. But I'm not that far behind you. Simon says, "Yeah, bottom half is relevant." Yeah, you don't want to know what I'm wearing on the bottom at the moment. Yes, I'm wearing something, but it's very hot up here as well, especially if you gained a bit. So, how did I get to that topic again? Never mind. But, oh boy, it's one of those bad days. But I don't want to keep you longer as necessary. I'm glad that, Glasgow! I was talking about you a little bit earlier. I don't know if you got the point about my Picard moment here. I'm really glad I was able to do the live stream today, even if it was later, and I'm glad that so many of you got that and were able to join me a little bit later than usual. You showed up because someone told you that I'm talking about. I thought your ears were ringing when I was talking about you, and then you showed up. No. I think we'll see us next week at the usual time if nothing comes in between. I told you I will not always be able to do the live stream, especially when the pandemic is over and the appointments start again, and I will have Schützenfest and Carnival again, and I have some positions there as well. In Carnival, I'm vice president of the Carnival Club, so there will be Sundays where I can't take part, or take part is good, where I can't make live streams because that's another part of that. It's not the only, it's a lot of culture, music, dancing, and stuff like that, and a lot of organizing. But at that time of the day, in Carnival, I'm honest, I will be drunk, so I won't make a live stream then. That's the bad thing about Sundays, but usually I can make more Sundays because all the political appointments are during the week in the evenings, and that's why I haven't picked a day under the week. And I'm still planning to do, for those speaking German, on a Wednesday to have a live stream on my new channel, but I didn't manage it for last time. That's what I said about during the week. I can't do anything regularly there, but for those understanding that, I will let you know as soon as I know when I can do it, and I will have a live stream maybe next Wednesday and there we are back with the Lego, even if some people complain about this. I will get the Everyone is Awesome a Lego set for the Pride Month from Lego. And I would use that not from a Lego channel in the first place, but for my Queerview channel. And I'm thinking about making a live stream with unboxing of just that thing and quickly putting it together, I hope quickly, and talking about the topic if you speak German. Another question that always came up, why don't you put subtitles there? To put subtitles under the videos is not that easy. I'm not scripting everything word by word in German. And so I would have to sit there, watch my video and write everything down again. It takes a lot of time. And the automated translation is so bad. I tried that on my other 2 German channels. It doesn't work. People only get annoyed because of the bad translation, so it doesn't help. So I never activated that on the new channel. I'm really sorry. I know there are some who don't speak German who would like to watch it, but it really makes no sense to activate that. And unfortunately, I really don't have the time to write the subtitles daily for those videos as well. That's really not possible. I'm really sorry for that. I appreciate that you would want to see this, but I can't do that. I'm really sorry. But for now, viel Glück beim Karneval. You should make that pay for view. Pay for view. Karneval? Okay, so now this time I didn't get you, even if you spoke German. As Simon, yeah, Lego doesn't have a box gay parade, but they had a Everyone is Awesome rainbow set, a pride set right now. That's what I'm waiting for, which this stupid parcel deliverer hasn't delivered yesterday, which they were supposed to as well. They do have that, and I'm waiting for that to show that to, first of all, to the people on my Queerview channel, and to talk about that one, because there's a lot of complaints by German media about that as well. And I'm talking about pinkwashing in some cases soon there as well. And that's why the set is important as well. And there are many people who are angry that children might see that and stuff like that. I'll let you know if when I got this. I'll definitely put it somewhere where you can see it for the time being. At least for June, because June is the Pride month. So I'll put it here somewhere that you can see it. And Christian, I don't know, because nothing arrived yet. If it arrives on Monday, I'll let you know. If I got the bonus pack as well. It didn't show anywhere. When I used the code, it was valid, but it never showed anywhere that I put in the code after I got to the next step. So I don't know. I will know hopefully tomorrow, when it hopefully finally arrives with this parcel service that keeps the stuff in their depot here in my hometown, only, I don't know, 10 kilometers away from here for days now. And Cloudhopper, exactly. Thanks to Sachsen-Anhalt for preventing the worst. Congratulations, even on my English channel, for Rainer Haseloff for his victory. It was a big victory for the Christian Democrats. I'm going to party a bit now. And I'll see you tomorrow at 6 a.m. CET on my next video. And you'll have a fun one with the Minister for Culture as well. Was it today? No, it will be tomorrow. So you have fun there too. And thanks for watching. Thanks for always joining me again. I really appreciate that. And I'm looking forward to see you again live next week. And for now, have a nice Sunday evening. And take care.